All right, so now that we've let the dough rest, it's nice and ready for us to use, and we'll teach you how to stretch or throw the dough. But first things first, let's go ahead and let's preheat the pizza oven over here. So I'm just going to turn it on. We're cooking Neapolitan pizza, so I just turned it one click to the Neapolitan setting. I'm going to hit the button. 850 degrees, and this thing will be ready in just a few minutes. And as you can see, we can use it indoors, we can use it outdoors, but today we're inside in the kitchen, so no worries about getting it so hot that it can't sit on the counter. All right, so let's talk about the dough. They're nice and rested, they're looking good. Some of the other things I have out here, I've got a bowl full of semolina. This coats the bottom of the dough as well, so it helps to kind of work on the surface so it doesn't stick and slide around. And then when we go to put it on the peel, that's the next kind of layer to help you kind of get that underneath and really work the dough so it doesn't stick to the surface that you're working on. So I recommend using semolina. You can also add a little bit of the flour, the double O pizza flour as well. That's another trick that you can add to it. But this also gives it a little bit of texture when you cook it as well. Definitely something that every great pizza that you've probably ever eaten has on it. So let's begin by taking one of our dough balls. We're going to take it out of the bowl here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dunk it on both sides in my semolina. All right. And then from here I can put it on the counter. Now, this dough ball is somewhat in a circle, but what we want to do is we want to make sure that we can start by making the crust. And the biggest thing with the crust here is that once I go to make this dough, I don't want to work it out with my hands. So if I can leave that kind of crust ring untouched, that's going to give you that nice pillowy dough texture, that big fluff that kind of gives you those nice charred leopard spots that you're looking for with a Neapolitan pizza. That's how you do it. So what we're going to start with is just kind of pressing in a small ring around the edge of the dough, and that's going to be our crust. All right? So you can kind of see what that looks like. And from there, what we're going to do is we're going to try to work the middle. So I'm picking it up. My hands and fingers are only underneath in the middle here. And what I'm just going to do is kind of let gravity do its work. And I'm just going to kind of spin around and make sure that I can get this dough stretched to the point where I can get my hands on the inside of it, and then I can work it fully into shape. Okay, but I'm not touching that edge. I'm leaving that kind of untouched so all those air pockets are in there. Kind of laying it back out. So now it's about the size where I can get my hand in the middle of it. And what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of press and turn the dough out slightly. If it starts to stick to the counter a little bit more, you can always take a little more semolina, pick up your dough, put some semolina down, flop it back down, and now we're starting to spin a little bit more. So that's kind of what we're after, okay? So now I can kind of stretch the dough. I'm using my hands and kind of spreading them out and turning them at the same time. So I'm not just working one side of the dough, I'm working all the way around in a circle. And that way I keep that nice circular shape. And I'm still leaving that crust untouched. But you can see I'm starting to get thin in some areas, which is great. That's exactly what you want to see for Neapolitan dough. Right? It should be super thin in the middle and give you that nice, big, fluffy, airy crust on the outside. So we're almost there. This dough is meant to be about 12 inches. So we're getting pretty close to about the right size and shape. All right, just a few more turns here. Gonna add a little more semolina under here, just so we keep spinning it around. All right, a couple more turns and we should be good. Now the other thing is, if you happen to kind of tear a hole in it, now's the time where you can kind of come back and pinch it together. You want to wait till you're all done. You don't want to try to fix a hole and then continue to stretch the dough. Wait till you're all done and then come back in and you can kind of just fix it by pinching it, patting it together, and that way it's nice and settled. You don't have to worry about spreading it out open again. So wait till the very end to kind of fix all those up. So right now we've got our nice circular dough, and at this point we're ready to talk about the pizza peels, how to use those. There's two different styles of peels. So there's a wood peel, similar to what you see here, right? All wood. You can kind of use both sides. It has a nice little edge to it so you can get under the pizza, You can use it to put the pizza into the oven. You can use it to take the pizza out. It does get hot in the oven, but not so much where you're gonna burn or scorch this wood peel. This is a very common tool for most pizzerias. So this is one option. The other option would be if you wanted to do a steel peel. This one has perforated slots in it, and what that's good for is some of that will help to scrape some of that semolina off the bottom, because that's one of the things that kind of goes into the oven and can sometimes char and burn and give you a bitter taste. So by having these slots into this steel peel here, that will scrape off a little bit on the bottom and kind of fall through, and that way you're not getting all of that semolina into the oven itself. So that's a benefit for this. The drawback of this is these are a little bit harder to work with. You do have to kind of scoop under the pizza itself to get it onto here. And once you get it onto the steel peel, you've got to go quickly into the oven or else it will stick. Even if you have semolina on it, it will begin to stick pretty quickly. So really, I like to say, as soon as you've topped your pizza and done everything to it, you can slide it on here and go straight to the oven. You don't really want to make your pizza on top of this, add the toppings or anything else. This one is just great for scooping up, being quick to the oven and releasing it into the oven. We're going to use the wood peel today because I think this gives a little bit more versatility and it's a little bit more user-friendly for beginners. So with the wood peel, one of the things that you can do is you can top the pizza on top of the peel. You have more time to work with. It won't stick to the wood quite like it would to the metal peel. So this is a great option if you've never tried either one, and that way you don't have to worry about sliding under the pizza or anything else. So for this one, I'm just gonna set the peel off to the side, and I'm just gonna pick my dough up and I'm gonna flop it right back down on the pizza peel. So at this point, I'm just gonna stretch it back out, and I've got a 12-inch pizza peel here, and my dough is about 12 inches. So we're good on size. And you can see I can kind of slide it around. That's what we're looking for, right? So you don't want it to stick. So as long as you can kind of slide around, you know that once you go to the oven, you're gonna be good to go. So from here, what I can do next is we can go and top the pizza, and we can work on putting the right amount of toppings, what a Neapolitan pizza kind of looks like. And then from there, we'll go launch it into the oven. I do want to talk about the metal peel as well, because this one is a little bit different. So this one, what you have to do, you can do the same thing and pick it up. But if you've already topped your pizza, it's a little bit harder to do that without messing up the toppings and kind of having things fall off. So a lot of times what you're going to do is you're going to take this metal peel and go under the pizza really quickly with kind of a sharp, steady movement. And you want to be pressing firmly down on the countertop or surface below. And that way the pizza kind of slides up into the metal peel. So I'll demonstrate now. Right? So there we are. Just one quick slide of the peel. It goes under the pizza. We're still sliding around. We can see that it's not sticking to the pizza peel, so that we know that we're good here. All right, so I personally like the steel peel. We are gonna have the wood peel and the steel peel in our shop available on currentbackyard.com. But my preference is to use the steel peel simply because it's quick, it's easy, and I like the fact that it gets rid of the semolina underneath, keeping my oven clean and not giving me any of that bitter char taste. So this is what we're gonna be using here today. Quick, easy, and I can just come back to the oven, slide it in, and we'll be ready to go. So from here, we're gonna go and look at topping the pizza, and then we will launch it into the oven and show you a little bit more about the Current Backyard Pizza Oven.